Hello 102ers and welcome to the last week of the first half of the class. After this one, it's all going to be moving downhill pretty quickly. Are you ready for that? We're moving quickly towards spring break, and I gotta tell you, my springs are definitely broke. I'm beat up and in need of a week on the couch. Between being sick a couple of weeks ago and the constant moving of being a full-time educator and parent of two, I'm looking forward to a break, but let's do this. As always, here's the weekly announcement. Please make sure to read it all the way through. It's all necessary information and links right here, okay? They're all there for you to see. It should be posted clearly at our opening page, and it's really emailed to you as well. So please make sure to check your Delaware Tech email. You've got no excuses. So back to our normal page. There we go. To look at the course schedule, go over here to the right-hand side, click on 102 Masterclass Schedule, scroll all the way down to week 7, right here. It's the beginning of Unit 3, as you can see. And let's chat. Since we're starting a new unit, there's going to be a little bit of talking, as always, and then we have the actual assignments this week. So 5 items to view, 2 assignments to complete, including the very important Unit 2 essay. And because I have a feeling this will be a rather long video, and I'm sorry, let's just get started. So, what is an argumentative research paper? Clicks right here. It's your first document which shows you guessed it, what an argumentative research paper is. Now, this is the biggie, folks. It's going to be by far worth the most points of anything this semester, and the first 2 papers built towards this. It's not due for a little while, but it's good to start thinking about it now. Once again, the details you need are right here. Now, I still can't stand this little thing here. It's just an art project. Who cares? But down here we have the sample, and then these are the requirements that you're going to really want to pay attention to. So, all of this material is here, but like I did in Unit 1 and Unit 2, I also give you a sample document, which we're going to go over in just a second. So, here's kind of what you can look at here. It gives you all the good information. That's great. But if you want to go to your sample document, I did the same thing that I always did, okay? Here's the directions and sample. This one, I believe, I don't know how many pages it is. 14 maybe? But I got 1, 2 pages of instructions, and then 12 pages of a sample. As you can see here, this is the big mamma jamma. We're going from 4 to 6 pages in Unit 2 to 7 to 8 pages here. You're going to find an additional 3 sources in this unit that you haven't already found. Now remember, you already found 2 sources in Unit 1, 2 sources in Unit 2, and now 3 more in Unit 3, so you have a minimum of 7 sources to work with. So that's really helpful for you. Just remember those 7 sources, okay? A few places will tell you a minimum of 6 sources, but I'm telling you right now, it's got to be 7. After that, everything sort of falls into the same categories. APA formatting, source material needed. Again, looking for a minimum of 7 sources. Use only third-person point of view. Avoid using first or second person. This paper will be worth 25% of your final grade in this class. So this one needs to be focused upon because, you know, for the vast majority of you, it will mark the difference between passing and failing. So as you can go through here, you will see that we're going to need a single paragraph introduction. We're going to need at least 1 background paragraph, which is basically establishing all the information of your topic that your reader might need to know. Nobody likes to feel stupid, so this is where you explain all of the technical aspects of your topic, all of the detailed aspects of your topic. Your argument, minimum of 3 reasons. You will need to support your topic, your argument, with 3 reasons minimum, okay? You might have 5, you might have 7, but you need at least 3, okay? And this is where we're going to really blend in CSET. Counter-argument and rebuttal, we're going to talk about that in a couple weeks. You're going to have 1 counter-argument paragraph minimum and 1 rebuttal paragraph minimum. So at least 2 paragraphs in this section, if not more. And then finally, a quick conclusion, which is going to kind of tie everything together. As you can see down here, I have a sample paper. Same title page as always. You just kind of plug in the information that you need here. You keep this information, you keep this information, and you put my name in here, okay? And the date, the due date. Down here, you can see that the title is the exact same thing as the title on the title page. And in the headers, all you will see is the page number, okay? Don't confuse that. We have our introduction, and then we start with our subheadings. Here's the background section. Single paragraph. Nope, double paragraph. We have Claim 1, long and short-term outcomes. Okay, great. Then we have Claim 2, ineffective behavior modification. Then we're going to have Claim 3, resulting negative mindsets. Each one of those were single paragraphs for a total of 3. But wait, there's more. We have Claim 4 here, alternative corrective punishments. You can have as many claims as you'd like, providing you have a minimum of 3. Then we go into our counter argument, and you can see our counter argument happens to be 1, 2 paragraphs. Then we go into our rebuttal, which happens to be 1, 2 paragraphs. And then we have a nice conclusion. Finish up our conclusion. Next page starts the references. Any reference you use within the paper itself must be listed here. Anything you cite within the paper itself must be listed here. And anything listed here must be used within the paper itself. We're going to go over this again later in a little bit more detail, but right now, that's what it looks like. Everybody good? Good. Now, after seeing your future, you can see that the next thing we're going to look at is what a classical argument is. Now, basically, clicking on this page, it just kind of gives you 2 videos to watch. Yeah. Look, let me explain it like this. An argument is not just 2 or more people yelling at each other. An argument is multiple perspectives on a single topic. It also requires support for each side, or else we're looking at a simple assertion, which becomes more the understanding of an argument that many of you have. I'm right, you're wrong. No, I'm right. No, you're wrong. Then there's finger pointing, yelling, spitting, throwing garbage cans, kicking over refrigerators. You know, that's not an argument. That's a fight. That's what most people picture, but the argument itself features a few key elements that you would need to know. An argument always begins with a thesis, the statement that can be proven true or false. Once the thesis is stated, then the person stating the thesis has to prove that thesis. It's not just a matter of saying, this is what I believe, so disprove me, because that's actually a logical fallacy known as burden of proof. Remember all those movies and TV shows that you watched where the scenes took place in the courtroom? The prosecution has to prove their point. They cannot just state an idea and hope that everyone else does the work for them. Same thing here. Once you state your thesis, you provide solid evidence to break down that thesis into smaller claims that you can use to prove the entire idea. You'll need at least 3 small claims to show how your side of the argument is the stronger side. Once you develop your side, you must be open to the prospect that the opposing side, or the other side of the argument if you don't really want to view it as adversarial, has at least 1 or 2 good points of their own. So the counter-argument will be their opportunity to illustrate your opposing side's thesis. Since you will not be team writing this paper, you will be doing your argument and the counter-argument yourself, which means you must be fair and complete with the opposing side. Additionally, you have to support that opposing side, which means showing how, in some cases, your side might actually be a bit weak. Once you go through the counter-argument, you must provide the rebuttal. This is where you can show your reader how the counter-argument, while possibly having a few good points of their own, is still nowhere strong enough to overwhelm your original argument. See, if it did, then you may want to rethink your original approach to begin. I mean, overall, just getting you to watch 2 videos kind of annoys me, but hey, the basics of the argument are pretty similar throughout all of the world, even through the last few, millennia. We really haven't thought about changing how arguments are done because it's worked so well since a few hundred years BC when it was formalized. The next page, the qualities of a good research question, is probably one of my favorite pages made for the class because I don't really have many issues with it. In order to move forward with the paper, you need to have a solid direction for research, which begins with our research question. So how do we create it? By looking at this page. You can look at it more in depth, but I want you to remember that a good question is not purely opinion, and a good question can actually be answered using solid research. If it cannot be answered, it's not a good topic. Once you think of it that way, you can guide through the process really quickly, knowing you have a solid base. So here, it can be answered objectively through research, which basically means you can find research out there that's going to support both sides of the equation. However, some of it might be better research than others. A good research question can be answered using existing information. Don't tell me that there is life on other planets because it will eventually be proven that it's the case. I don't care what's going to happen eventually. I care what's happening now. Sorry, got thirsty. And a good research question hasn't already been answered. Don't argue that smoking causes cancer. We already know that. It's been proven. That is not an argument, okay? So that's the point we're trying to make. All right, almost done. Next research document is research questions and search tips. There we go. This shows you how to move an easy step to go from your research questions to claims that you can prove within your argument. It's not simply a loss of 1 or 2 words. There are a few shifts in thinking to worry about as well. So look through this page and see the examples given, as I've found that it's easier to do this than to explain this. So why should violence against animals be illegal? Well, that's a good question, but you have to switch that to a statement by using reporters' questions. Who, what, where, why, when, and how. Animal cruelty should be punished just as harshly as violence done against humans. I personally think there should be a because clause at the end of this. So animal cruelty should be punished just as harshly as violence done against humans because animals can't speak for themselves, because we are caretakers of the planet, because whatever you want to put forth, okay? What legal actions should be taken against people who commit violence against animals? Well, that's a question. It could go any different direction. There are various legal actions that can be taken against those who commit such violence, like, or such as, all of those would work. So here, if you want to go through, you can look at keywords by going to EBSCOhost and looking here, or going to SIRS and taking a look up top here at the different viewpoints, okay? That will all work as well. Finally, we have thesis statements, writing and importance. And it's a general review of everything you've ever learned about thesis statements over the course of your English language education. Now, if I were you looking at these sample thesis statements, I'd focus on the divorce one up here, right here, and the job market one down here, okay? They seem to be the 2 best out of the 4. The drug education is not totally awful, but it definitely needs work as it's very general and doesn't necessarily focus the readers very well. The Shakespearean thesis is god-awful. This was written by someone who wanted to appear smart and educated but fell far short of the mark. Ignore this one altogether. The rest of this page, again, is a review. You've learned about thesis statements in practically every stage of your education, so this is just something to get your brain remembering what you learned. If you had to narrow the page down to a single idea, well, I'd go with the one that says a thesis must be supportive and specific. Oh, look. It's all around here. Here it is. So, a thesis must be supportable and specific. If you cannot support your thesis, then it doesn't count. There are assertions, and they won't work very well for an argument. If your thesis, like the drug education one above, is just too all-encompassing that anything can fit in there, then you're casting your net far too wide. Whew, that's a lot. I knew this would be a long video, so I'm sorry, but let's continue. Like I said at the beginning, we had 5 pages to review, and we have 2 assignments, the Unit 2 paper and the building research questions for Essay 3, right? So let's take a few minutes to review the Unit 2 paper just in case you've got some questions. I'm planning on a quick overview, so if you have any questions, please reach out early in the week, okay? Okay. Now, I have included this sample and directions document again in the announcement, so you have yet another opportunity to not lose points on formatting. Please make sure to follow the requirements and expectations. Remember, I'm looking for 4 to 6 pages minimum, 2 additional sources there, so you're going to base this on 2 new sources that you didn't use in Unit 1. APA formatting, double spacing, Times New Roman or Calibri 12-point font, correctly formatted title page, page numbers in the upper right-hand corner, repeated title on the second page, headings and subheadings, in-text citations and references page. You may use third person for the majority of the essay. I expect it. You may only use first person, which is I or me, in the exploratory synthesis paragraph, okay? Do not use second person in any form. Down here, we talk about the introduction. You're going to have a single paragraph. The background section is most likely going to be a single paragraph, which just illustrates the 2 authors, the article titles, and their central purposes. Ask yourself what the reader needs to know about these topics and what you have learned from this information. Then we have our comparing perspectives section. These 2 sections here are my 2 most important ones. So I'm looking for really good detail here. Make sure that you discuss the argument point 1 that you brought up and the argument point 2 that you brought up in the previous organizer. And then you're going to explain it a little bit better. Minimum of 1 paragraph for each. Do not put each one of these in the same paragraph. This section here must have a minimum of 2 paragraphs. If you give me 1 paragraph, you will be unhappy with your grade. Then we have the exploratory synthesis. This is where you are giving me your view on the topic. I have 0 issues with you saying, I believe, or I feel, as long as you back it up. Because remember, I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel. I care what you can prove. So prove it to me. And then finally, we have our conclusion, okay? So down here, as you can see, we have the title page. It's exactly what you should do, except obviously change this to your name, change this to my name, change this to the due date. And then we have introduction with the title. We have our background information, single paragraph. We have our comparing perspectives 1, our comparing perspectives 2, our exploratory synthesis, and then our conclusion. Okay? Everything is there for you to see. And then we only use 2 references in alphabetical order. Gershoff comes before Perry. And that's all she wrote. If you have any questions on this, please email me prior to Sunday, okay? Let me know what's happening, and I will be more than happy to help you. Once you get that done, you actually have a pretty quick and easy assignment, which is the Unit 3 Building Research Questions and Reasons Graphical Organizer. So clicking on there will take us to this page here. You can see a little bit of a sample, although my sample will not reflect the actual organizer. The organizer you can access by clicking this link here or this link here, and everything is going to be on that organizer. Download it, fill it in, upload it. What's it look like? Looks just like this. Once again, what is your general topic? What is your thesis question? Because you already just asked that for Unit 2. You just have to plug it in there. Okay? And then your research questions. What were 4 research questions that you asked to find your information? After that, tell me what your tentative position on the topic is. This is already stuff that you have completed for the Unit 2 graphical organizer, so you should be able to plug that in, and that in pretty easily. The 4 research questions, just work on them, okay? And then, reasons for your support. I want because clauses. I believe my point in this argument is strong because I am using the most up-to-date information and statistics that I can find. Because all of the arguments that I have are backed up by research and data. Because, and just tell me the information that goes in here. I am asking you because, so you understand that I need a reason, not just because I like it. Okay? Give me something good. And then, tell me about your audience. How do you believe most of your audience feels about your topic? What do you believe most people think about your topic? You might have a topic that you can honestly say, I don't think people think about this at all. And that's fine. Okay? So tell me other things. What knowledge do you believe your audience possesses in relation to this topic? Do you think anybody knows anything? And then finally, what do you believe the audience will need to grasp the fundamentals of your topic? Okay? So honestly, it's not going to take you all that long after your paper. So just get it done, get it in. And that's the gist, kids. I know it was not a short video, but not an incredibly long video. But it's a new unit, so it's kind of a lot of material. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach out. Until then, good luck, have a great week, and see ya.